Democrats really, really are just the old aristocracy. They are. They sneer on you. People like Pelosi. The idea of them making mistakes, of them leading the party to disaster, of them not representing the people, of them pushing bad policy, of them pushing bad strategy, this to them, you, my friend, are getting uppity. You're questioning your betters. See, the Democrats, the establishment Democrats, they don't like populism. It's unbecoming. They don't like it. You have to know your place, and they know their place. And their place is telling you what the Democrats should be doing. My dude Feinstein was born in 1933. She was born before the fucking Holocaust happened. It is insane how old some of these people are. Look at this. Democrat leaders in the House are 2 decades older than Republican leaders. Look at this. The average age of House leadership by party, 72 to 48. 72 to 48. That is a 24-year age difference. And while the old fucking dinosaurs of the Democratic Party sneer at you when you suggest that maybe being out of touch fucking old money boomers who don't give a fuck about living humans isn't great for re-election strategies, the Republicans are putting fucking 25-year-old neo-Nazis in Congress. The Republicans don't give a fuck. The Republicans will put fucking YouTubers in Congress. They don't give a shit. Charlie Kirk will be a congressman sometime in the next 10 years. Nick Fuentes is going to be a fucking state representative soon, okay? They're going to throw Joey Salads, throw them all up there, okay? They're going to put them all up there. They don't care. Congressman Tim Pool. Yeah, Governor Tim Pool. They're going to throw that shit all up there. They don't fucking care. They'll take anyone rabid enough, anyone frothing at the mouth. You know? Keemstar. Keemstar will be the next president. Keemstar will be the next president. It's true. It's true. 2024. It's true. I know. It's crazy. He's going to begin. I know exactly how he's going to begin every fucking press conference too. Let's get right into the news, and then he'll go right into it. You know, he's gonna keep the bit too. He'll keep being a YouTuber as well while he's the president. Where he's going to miss out. He's going to miss out on fucking cabinet meetings because he's busy recording. Like, the Republican Party doesn't give a fuck, okay? That's my point. The Republican Party doesn't give a fuck. It's just about power to them. But for them, power is vested in institutions outside the individual. The Republicans are more collectivist than they could ever accuse us of being. To them, as long as power is being consolidated towards white supremacy, towards capital, that's good. That's their job. But for some of these Democrats, I think they just want power for themselves exclusively, not even a broader institution. Just this utter contempt they have for the concept of representing their lessers. Well, whatever the case may be, we'll see how this develops. Eventually, you know, people like Feinstein and Pelosi will retire or fucking die because they're so old. And we're gonna see how that goes. Okay, we're gonna see. Okay, good. Nice job. Good team. All right, what are we talking about? Somebody said, yikes, that doesn't look good. What doesn't look good? What are you talking about? Trump has privately floated 2024 run to advisors if he loses to Biden. Cope. He's not going to run in 2024. Absolutely delusional. Zero chance. Literally zero chance. Pennsylvania lawsuit thrown out. Really? Again? This is from 25 minutes ago. Yeah, okay, thrown out. Nice. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. Do you think we'll know if Biden wins today? We should. Yeah, the Republican Party loves taking young white supremacists and grooming them for the Republican Party. The Democrat Party looks down on young leftists and tries to push them away as much as possible. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I completely agree. Why wouldn't he run again? Dude, Trump is dying. Trump is old and bloated and unhealthy and sweaty and sticky. He's not going, and COVID has long lasting medical consequences. He is not going to run in 2024. There's no fucking chance. This means we can attack libs again, right? Let's make sure that Biden, guys, our goal isn't to attack liberals. It's to attack the liberal establishment. We don't want to push away people who could conceivably end up being on our side. Yeah, radicalize the libs. All right, let's take a look. Matt Walsh, what are you up to? Democrats could have legally won a landslide victory, and the Senate, if they'd backed the police instead of the rioters, promoted patriotism and dialed it back just a few notches on the far-left LGBT stuff. No sane human on earth thinks 8-year-olds should choose their gender. But 8-year-olds do choose their gender. When I was 8, I thought I was a boy and knew I was a boy, and I'm still a boy. I turned out okay. Literally all they had to do was say, police aren't racist serial killers. America is a great country and we should respect the flag, and little boys shouldn't dress up like girls. Minimal levels of sanity is all they need to display. Couldn't do it. Culture war stuff, see? Matt Walsh is correct in one respect, and it's that Republicans don't give a single fuck about policy or performance. They only give a fuck about virtue signaling, which is what all these culture war points are. What's this? Sauger. Oh, Sauger, curious about Floorgate here, apparently. Sauger, not you too. Come on, bro. There were over 100 Republican poll workers in that room. If this doesn't show you what a grifter and moron he is, I don't know what will. Whoops. Whoops. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Should probably fact check before you fucking promote conspiracy. Oh, no. What do we got here?
Okay, here's my prediction of what's going on right now.
Yeah?
Joe Biden is going to be declared president of the United States.
Cool.
And with a mountain of evidence, voter fraud coming out, not only on social media, from countless people I've heard through the grapevine, there is a ton of fraud going on. You can't tell me that Joe Biden, a guy that couldn't fill a high school auditorium for his rallies.
I love this. Yeah, dude, there's tons of evidence. It's all over social media. There's like lots of evidence I've seen from people. Joe Biden didn't hold rallies because there's COVID. Joe Biden deliberately didn't try to hold massive fucking rallies because he is not as narcissistic as Donald Trump. So he doesn't care. The size of your rally doesn't actually determine your fucking presidential support.
Got more of the popular vote than Barack Obama did. And if you're a Biden supporter, and you don't smell some kind of corruption, some kind of fraud, then you're lying to yourself. So Joe Biden will be.
I like the use of the term smell here. I like that that's the word we're going with because it's perfectly indicative of a feeling you have that you can't trace down to any specific point, you know? Like you don't see it, you know? You don't actually see it. You don't actually directly verify the existence of the fraud. But, you know, you got a feeling of it somewhere in the area.
Be declared president. This will go to the Supreme Court. Donald Trump will expose all the powers that be behind the curtains that have been navigating
QAnon. All right, hold on. We got a press conference.
700. Good afternoon.
Hi.
Putting microphones in the way of my computer.
I know the feeling.
Again. My name is Gabriel Sterling. I'm the statewide voting system implementation manager for Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. I wanted to go over a few more details of where we stand right now, and I will give the caveats that this could have changed as I walked across the street, as this is an ever-changing environment we're in. But we've come down to approximately 47,277 ballots still outstanding that are with the counties currently. And I'll go through the list as we did last time, and I'll try to come back and give some specifics as to where we stand. Chatham, 17,157. Clayton, 6,026. Cobb, 700. Floyd, 682. Forsyth, 4,000.
Why the fuck is the Fox News microphone pointing away from him? Every other microphone, News Nation, CLU 69, GPB 46, and then Fox 5 is pointing off. He moved it for his computer. Is that the one he moved? The only one? That's amazing.
113. Fulton, 7,305. Gwinnett, 4,800. Harris, 3,641. And Lawrence, 1,797.
QAnon confirmed.
And a little one down here at the bottom, Taylor, 456.
456.
Now I'm going to go through and kind of give you where we stand and the situations behind these numbers. So we'll start at the top. And if you notice, several of the counties that were there this morning have now dropped off as they have completed their uploads of the ballots that they had in hand.
Cool.
Chatham County is still currently scanning. I know they're working. We have an investigator there just to keep an eye on things because at some point, one of y'all are going to ask me what happened down there, and I need to be able to answer with first-hand account from our own people. So that's what's happening there. Clayton County, we talked to them this morning and again after lunch. They're continuing to work. They have continued to scan and make uploads. As you notice, their total has dropped. Cobb County is continuing to finish off their ballots there. Floyd, I don't have a clear answer on the 682 just yet. Forsyth, Mandy, who's a great elections director, is working to get through that stuff. She is very much on the side of being accurate rather than being fast in some ways, which is really good and helpful because she is a very diligent director. Fulton continues to draw down their number. They have 7,305. Again, with the work of our monitor in there, we're keeping a close eye on that number. There were 1,200 ballots with a second stage of signature match. They were brought over from State Farm Arena today. They're inside that total. One other specific item I have from Fulton County is they have 3,900 provisionals. I do not know the coding on those provisionals. As you may or may not know, depending on the coding, there has to be actions done by the voter, or there's an automatic acceptance of those ballots. Again, depending on the coding of those, and I do not have that detail.
Cool.
Gwinnett is down to 4,800. We had discussions with them about why they had the 7,700 out there. Part of that is just a scanning differential between the accepted ballots and those were reported. So their actual total is about 4,400 of the absentee ballots to scan and report. And they did have an issue that was asked about earlier this morning. They had a corrupt memory card on one of the early voting ICPs, the polling place scanners. They discovered that. They took the ballots from that. They rescanned those, and those will be included in the totals. It's approximately 400 votes, and that is included in the 4,800. But that's one of the benefits of having a paper backup, is that you can, if those situations occur, you can take care of those. Harris is continuing to work. Lawrence County, we talked to them this afternoon, and they are trying to figure out exactly where the batches are for the 797, because they had thought they had uploaded them, and they looked and realized they had not. Taylor had a unique issue. They did their absentee ballot printing in-house. Something along the way made the ballots not the appropriate size. So if you have a ballot that is based on coordinates, which a hand-marked ballot is, and it is not the right size, it cannot be scanned. So they're going through the process of duplicating each of those ballots on the ballot marking devices, and then what they have to do is have to take the original ballot and the duplicate ballot so they can tie them together, have to be marked that each one matches to the other one.
You got it here, folks. They're duplicating Biden ballots.
Artifact of the voter. They will take those ballots, and it's 456 of them, and then run them through their scanner. They are a little over halfway through that process right now. As you can imagine, it's an arduous process. You want to be precise and make sure you get the ballot reflecting exactly what the intended vote of the voter was. So again, that gets to a total of 47,277. On another note, following up on another question that was asked earlier today, we have this is included in the counts we have right now. There are 17,529 UACAVA, which is our military and overseas ballots that have been accepted in the counties. And as I noted earlier, under the federal laws, the UACAVA ballots that are postmarked by Tuesday can be accepted up to tomorrow, Friday. So of the pool of those, there are 8,899. That doesn't mean that any of them will arrive, or it means that all of them could arrive. We have no way of knowing that number. So I just want to make that clear. It's not there's 8,900 ballots to be counted. Those are ones
I just want to say, by the way, that the fact that this press conference even needs to be held indicates that this man and probably other leadership in Georgia are fucking terrified of the results of this election being deemed illegitimate due to claims of a lack of transparency. The fact that this is like this is such a exceptionally transparent, delivery of pre-election results, and like it's almost comical, like it feels like abusive parents coming home and the kid is like, all right, listen, I washed all of the dishes. You can see that I put the 3 blue plates back up on the second from the left of the sink drawer, and then I took the cups and I put them there, and it's like he's trying to avoid trouble down the line. You know what I mean?
Ones that could arrive to be counted and any subset thereof. So with that, I will answer any questions you may have.
Mr. Secretary, can you tell us how long you think it will take for the count to be finished?
Well, let's see. First of all, not the Secretary. I'm the statewide voting system implementation manager.
I apologize. Let me ask you that question again.
Yeah.
How long do you think it will take for it?
Again, as we've been stating for weeks and months, that with the advent of paper, it's going to take time. We anticipate having the count, quote unquote, done when the legal deadline for certification is, which is going to be 10 days after the election. That's when we're done, because there are ballots that are still coming in. There are ballots to be cured. There are ballots that are provisionals that are to be verified. So we can't know how long the process will take. We hope to have clarity on the outcomes of these elections as soon as possible. However, when you have so many important elections in the state being so close, done is a very relative term at this point. We're trying to get all the legal votes counted accurately so we can give the right results and make sure that everybody's vote is reflected properly.
So do you think the county
Yes, sir.
What's your message to people around the state and around the country who claim the amount of time it's taking Georgia is some sort of effort to steal an election or cheat?
Huh?
The effort here is to make sure that everybody's vote, legal vote, is counted properly and that the actual results are reflective of the voters' intent. The issue we have in Georgia is, like I just said, it's a close vote. There's other states that have more votes to count than we do, but it's a wide margin, so nobody cares. So this is the first time we've used paper ballots in this state in 20 years. So, as we said, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, the secretary stood where I'm.
Wait, they didn't use paper ballots before? They moved back to, so that's why he said the advent of paper ballots. What were they using, fucking papyrus before? They were using fucking stone tablets.
Standing and said, this is going to take a little more time. These close elections require us to be diligent and make sure we do everything right. Yes, sir.
Sterling, can you talk a little bit about the recount process?
In all seriousness, though, they previously used electronic methods, voting machines. Paper ballots are way more reliable than voting machines. I don't trust voting machines for shit, dude. The voting machines in this country, the state buys them up. They end up getting fucking bought from companies that have ties to fucking Republican politicians, and then they don't allow any investigation as to the methods they use to actually count the vote. Yeah, fuck that shit. No, fuck that. I would rather it just being used with paper. Yeah, they can be hacked. We don't have full transparency into the creation process. They're very often old and outdated. We don't have a paper trail. Yeah, no, we don't want electronic counting. Yes, Tom Scott has a phenomenal video on electronic and on online voting. The dream would be everyone could just vote online, like they just click a button and that's that, but there's no way to do that securely. There's just no way to do that securely.
Get to that point, given how close up these races, especially the presidential races, what happens and when will that happen?
Under the law in this state, there's 2 different ways you can request a recount. You can request it before certification if you are going to allege that there's any specific irregularity that has occurred. That would be a county by county function. We don't see a mechanism in place to call for a statewide recount under that scenario. The second way is it would have to be after certification, and whether that's county certification or state certification, I will leave that to lawyers, but it would potentially be after the state certification. And then at that point, one of the good things we have happening today is that we have been setting up for our risk limiting audit, and in doing that, we have what's called ballot manifests, where we know the amount of ballots at each one, and they are tracked, so we know exactly how many there are. And the rule we passed to help define the recount after we passed HB 316, which was our election reform law that was supported by Secretary Raffensperger, was that essentially you would take a sample amount of ballots, run them through the scanner, make sure that it matched what we saw there, and then you would rescan those ballots on these central scanners called the ICC at each one of the counties. In anticipation of this, as I noted in our conference earlier, the Secretary directed that we procure the high-capacity scanners for each and every county, regardless of population, for just such an occasion as this. Yes, John.
What is the cost of a recount? How long does a recount take, given this volume of votes? And in the history of Georgia, have recounts never made a difference in the results?
Okay.
We anticipate most recounts do not make differences, but in the past, we weren't involving paper on that, especially this volume of hand-marked paper. The cost, unknowable, unknown at this point. I couldn't give you an answer on that one. The good thing is we have already procured the necessary equipment statewide for such an occasion. How long it's going to take? It will be faster than what we saw in Chatham County, where a judge decided to order a hand count of the ballots we had off the BMDs, and it took 5 days to do 5,000 ballots. In this case, using technology, we anticipate it could take up to a week. Again, that's just our first blush look at it. In fact, we were talking.
This man is going to get murked sometime in the next, like, 8 hours, dude. He looks so fucking nervous, doesn't he? He looks so goddamn nervous being up here. Because he knows that, like, the entire country is staring at him sweating, you know?
With some logistics companies earlier about making sure we put processes in place with the counties, but it would have to be after the certification in order to make that happen. Yeah, John, follow up.
On the timeline. So you have to, by law, certify by November 13th.
He looks so nice, though.
No,
he looks kind of like Gabe Newell.
13th. The state has to certify by
Gabe
November
Newman?
20th.
Gabe Newman.
And in that process, do you anticipate sooner than later? I know you can't guess on the time frame, but what is your best guess at by this weekend, by Monday, and we might have a count?
Here's the issue. We are reliant upon the counties to do their jobs and do their jobs properly. We had a conference call with all 159 counties this afternoon, led by our elections director, Chris Harvey, basically laying out this timeline to them, saying the sooner you get the stuff to us, the sooner that we can get your certifications done, the sooner we can get the audit done, and the sooner we can get our certification done, so we can get that out of the way. Because we need to understand a few things about those 159 elections directors I was talking about before. We have a potential in the state of having a statewide runoff for a state-level election in the PSC. That means that there will be one on December 10th. That means they have to be prepared for that. Under our state law, they have a rollover list where they're going to have to get the absentee ballots out for it's nearly 700,000 people now. The state's not doing that in this particular case if there's a state runoff. There are 3 counties that have the Congressional District 5 runoff election to fill out the remainder of John Lewis's seat. And early voting for that begins, believe it or not, on Monday. So they'll be running those elections. At the same time, they're going to be preparing for this audit. We have to get ready for certification and then a recount. And then in the middle of that, we now look like we're going to have a runoff potentially for the Purdue seat along with the Loeffler seat. And the state will be doing the rollover list for those.
I feel
There's,
so
again,
bad for him.
700,000
Jesus
ballots we have
Christ.
to prepare for. We have worked on making sure inventories are in place for those.
But he's a conservative? Yeah, but this guy's one of the old conservatives. If he is. Wait, Gabriel Sterling. We'll take a look, okay? Not that it fucking matters. I will take an old conservative technocrat over a fucking fascist open populist any day of the week. Any day of the week. Gabe Sterling was a candidate for chair of the Fulton County Commission. Let me see. Special election. I don't actually see any information here which shows him falling on partisan lines. He says that he wants to reform taxes, he wants to improve public transportation, but he also wants to improve private health care. He might be a centrist, unironically. What is he like on Twitter? Let me see. A man with less than 3,000 Twitter followers is addressing the nation right now. Oh, no, yeah, conservative, cyclist, foodie. Yeah, okay, there you go.
Runoff elections for the absentee process. We encourage the counties to go through their inventories. The state ordered stuff about a month ago on the just in case.
Well, I think he's cute.
So
I
John,
like him.
Lots of things happening at one time. These elections directors are going to have a very good sleep sometime after probably January 15th. Yes, ma'am. Hold on a second. No, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any numbers on cured ballots coming in from Gwinnett County, Fulton County at this point?
At this point, we don't have any of the numbers coming in on the cured ballots on that. As you know, they have until tomorrow to cure those ballots. Stephen.
With the absentee ballots that are still left to process, can you explain what the process is for processing them that takes so long? I guess, why does it take so long to process an absentee ballot after the election?
Well, one of the issues you have is, first, absentee ballots were allowed to be submitted legally by 7 p.m. on Tuesday. So, like I said before, everybody's running the election on Tuesday, so you get into Wednesday. Then you have to do signature verification to assure that that ballot belongs to the person who previously requested it. So that's one of the important things, is we want to make sure the actual human being who voted that ballot is the one who requested that ballot. That's a very important distinction of absentee ballots in Georgia. Then they have to go through the process of putting them into batches. Then they get scanned. And when they get scanned, if there is a overvote or an ambiguous mark on an election, it then has to be adjudicated, and that requires volunteers from the Republican and Democrat parties to sit together to decide what that voter meant. And when you have a larger number of ballots, it takes a longer amount of time. Yes, sir.
This morning you said there were 17,000 ballots still outstanding in Chatham County. You just said there are still 17,000 ballots outstanding. Do you have any more information?
Well, let me explain what the difference of outstanding means. I mean outstanding from our vote totals. They have 15,000 scanned, and they have 2,000 more to scan. I know they're working on it right now. As I've noted before, and if you go to the Savannah Morning News, they've got a good explanation of their split registrar versus elections, which slows that process.
All right. I feel like we have the information from this that we were looking for, okay? So essentially, Georgia's going to take a while. They have a fuck ton of work to do, but between counting the available ballots, an inevitable recount, and the special elections they're going to need to deal with. So they're probably going to take a while, but from the transparency being, the reason why I'm happy about this is because the transparency being displayed here is going to make it much harder for conservatives to claim that whatever happens in Georgia is the product of a coup, you know? The more open and transparent they are directly like this, the easier it is to point to this press conference and go like, well, here you fucking go, dipshit, you know? Look, it's all happening, sorry. Michigan Republican Senator dude is not conceding. Let me see. Yep. This motherfucker is hoping that Trump takes him to court. James refuses to concede. I have deep concerns that millions of Michiganders may have been disenfranchised by a dishonest few who cheat. When this process is complete, I will, of course, accept the results and the will of the people. He claims credible evidence warrants a probe. Yeah. So he's not going to concede until after enough lawsuits from the Trump administration get shut down, which they already have been, by the way. It's crazy Alaska hasn't been called yet. Yeah, but it's, well, I don't know why it hasn't been called yet, but it's not going to go to Joe Biden, you know? I don't fucking know. Yeah, we've seen this James O'Keefe thing. One of the most shameless elements of like the conservative media grift is the fact that they repost like crazy. If you follow PragerU or if you follow fucking Project Veritas, they will, anytime they have a piece of information, they will post it 18,000 times. They will retweet it. They will re-edit videos to have the same info in it, but then repost it again. And every once in a while, I don't know if it's new content or if they're just regurgitating old content. They're so fucking lazy. Lies are hard to come up with. I don't know that they are, actually. I feel like generally it's pretty easy for Republicans to lie, you know? Why do you think Alaska is so much more red than any other state? I mean, it's got a lot of oil workers there. It's most of Alaska is, you know, tied to industries that tend to have a conservative bent. Also, from what I've heard, I think that the Alaska is mostly men. Doesn't Alaska mostly have men? Hold on. Alaska gender breakdown. There are more men than women in Alaska. There are, let me see. The ratio is 111 to 100, meaning that there are about 11% more men than there are women. Men tend to vote more conservative. That's because a lot of men go out there to work on oil rigs, or they go out there to go hunt wolves and eat them or something like that. Yeah. It's the MGTOW state. It's the MGTOW state. If you're tired of that femoid garbage, if you're tired of that shit, you can just go out there. You can just go out there, eat wolves, you know, fight them for meat. Yeah. Yeah, okay, let's talk about demographics, people. All right, are you all ready to get red-pilled? Yeah, you are. We had some really weird demographic upsets. Right here, we have a New York Times national exit poll on various demographics and the ways in which they voted. And let's take a look. Are you male or female? Looks like men pretty equivalently voted for Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Women significantly more likely to vote for Joe Biden. That's not something that is surprising to me. Women have always been at voting at this country. I don't know if it's their. What is your racial or ethnic heritage? White, of course, went mostly to Donald Trump for reasons that should be pretty obvious. 87% of black people went to Biden, which leaves 12% to Trump, which if that ends up being representative of the actual voter count, that means that his black voter percentage went up pretty significantly, considering it was, I think, 8% back in 2016. And the Hispanic vote here is also a pretty significant departure from what we were expecting. 1/3 of the Hispanic vote going to Donald Trump. Again, this is all according to the exit polls. And this can mean a number of things. And I've talked about this. Why did Hispanics vote more for Trump than we were expecting? There were some counties in certain parts of Texas and Florida that went like +40 to Obama, +40 to Clinton, and then +5 to Biden. What happened? Well, some of them, I imagine, are upset with Biden because he had a role in Obama's disastrous foreign policy, or sorry, immigration policy. That is definitely part of it. Part of it also, I think, comes down to the fact that Hispanic people are a demographic which can be swayed by fear-mongering about Black Lives Matter. From what I understand, there are Hispanics in this country who feel alienated by Black Lives Matter because it's Black Lives Matter. And as such, they're susceptible to propaganda about it being sort of like black supremacy as opposed to what it is, which is a race-neutral, anti-oppression movement. And then finally, of course, a lot of people talk about the Cubans. Cubans have always voted conservative in this country, or at least they have since the 1960s. And the reason for that is because of Castro, and it's because of the Bay of Pigs invasion. They don't like socialism, and they don't like Democrats that much, because JFK really bungled that Bay of Pigs invasion. Yikes. So that's a factor. But there's also another element of this, and it is that it is possible that Hispanics are being integrated into the systems of white supremacy, which encourage people to vote Republican. The more integrated Hispanic people are into the broader American social mesh, the more likely it is that a portion of them are going to fall along the, we've achieved the American dream, we're living in the suburbs, we're going to vote in line with like the general white demographic now, sort of thing. Voting Republican does correspond positively with wealth. Interestingly, Biden gained in white suburbs, so there's a really interesting demographic shift. True, the culture of machismo that Trump promotes also is big in Hispanic culture. Hispanic dudes tend to be really into machismo, it's a fucking thing. Asian voters, there weren't that many of them, which were sampled in this New York Times poll, but about 2/3 to Biden, and then other went about 40-60 split. Now for age, how old are you? Young people came out hard for Biden. Thank you, Biden. Very much appreciated. Is it machismo? Machismo sounds so much better. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said okay, fine. Google?
Machismo.
Machismo. Okay, but I got the E. Okay, machismo. Okay, fine. I got, 50%, half points. Machis. I feel like machismo sounds better because it's not cheese, but whatever. Anyway, young people, that is 18 to 29, came out hard for Biden, 35 to 62. That's not a surprise to me. In fact, every age group came out mostly for Joe Biden, except for people who were 65 and older, which narrowly leaned towards Donald Trump. Of course, it's the older people who tend to vote, so, yeah. College graduates were more likely to vote for Joe Biden. No college degree seemed split between the two. Married people, marginally more likely to vote for Donald Trump, probably because married people tend to be older on average. Are you gay, lesbian, bisexual, or transgender? Of which apparently 28% who are voted for Donald Trump, which is interesting. I don't know if this is like the white gays. I don't know what subset this is. You know, I don't know exactly how that pans out. But yeah, that is interesting. We're going to have to see how that pans out. Again, these are only New York Times exit polls, so we're going to see how representative these are down the line. Yeah, this is Blair. These are Blair White fans. Okay. If you have children, are you an evangelical or white born again Christian? I'm surprised that Biden was able to get even 23% of the white evangelical or white born again Christian vote, personally. I am genuinely surprised. But if you get rid of the white evangelical vote, Biden gets like 2/3 of the total country's votes. So, yeah. Yes, wealthy people are more likely to vote for Trump, obviously. And if you believe that your situation is better today than it was 4 years ago, you're much more likely to vote for Trump. Do you work full-time for pay? Yes, it's about 50-50. No, you're more likely to go for Biden. Poor people tend to vote for Democrats, so that makes sense. Labor unions, U.S. military, surprisingly even splits. Is this the first year you have ever voted? Of which 13% said yes. And of the 13% who are new voters, 2/3 of them came down for Biden. That is a good sign for us. For those who have voted before, pretty much 50-50. That's good. That's a good sign right there. The Zoomers coming out, you know? On most political matters, do you consider yourself liberal, moderate, or conservative? People who consider themselves moderate were more likely to come out for Joe Biden. Obviously, liberal and conservative split, respectively. Though, interestingly, 37% of people said they were conservative, whereas 24% of people said they were liberal, meaning that people who support Trump are more willing to commit to a partisan self-identification. No matter how you voted today, do you think of yourself as a Democrat, Republican, Independent, or something else? People who consider themselves independents went for Biden, which we expected, and for the Republican and Democrat, people voted basically in line with the expected preference. Which part of the country do you live in? What kind of place do you live in? If you live in a city, you are significantly more likely to vote for Joe Biden. Whereas if you live in the suburbs or a small city or rural area, you are much more likely to come out for Donald Trump. Actually, no, in the suburbs, it actually says that it's still more likely for Joe Biden. That's right. Joe Biden did get gains in the suburbs. So it's actually the small cities and rural areas where you have a disproportionate bias towards Donald Trump. And we have the race stuff again. Black women coming out 91% for Joe Biden, based, uncringe, very uncringe, very based. White men, of course, the hardest demographic, coming out for Donald Trump, but even then, not even by a 2-to-1 ratio, which I suppose is nice. Imagine every time you meet a white man, there is a 3/5 chance they're a Trump voter. Yoinks. What is your race and education level? And these are just combinations of previous data points we've taken a look at in the past. Which of these 5 issues mattered most in deciding who you voted for president? Race inequality and coronavirus and healthcare policy, probably Joe Biden. The economy, crime and safety, Donald Trump. Yeah. Very good, very good. Typical for fascists, the people who voted for Donald Trump said they did so because he is a strong leader and because he cares about people like me. Oh, God, these people are so sad. Imagine unironically being a Trump supporter and unironically believing that Donald Trump cares about you. And then the can unite the country and has good judgments, 2 characteristics that actually refer to one's qualities as a leader, those both go to Biden. Which was more important in your vote for president today? Uh-oh, I'm getting contradicted. My candidate's positions on the issues, in which case we actually have a favor for Donald Trump, and then my candidate's personal qualities, in which we actually have a favor for Joe Biden. So according to this, it's actually the Republicans who care about the policy, and it is the Democrats who are just looking to champion a personality cult. Interesting. I mean, they can say what they want. I've seen Trump speeches. I've seen Biden speeches. I know who talks about policy and who doesn't. Partisan lines for the coronavirus pandemic split. Who would better? Yep, partisan lines for this, partisan lines. Do you think Donald Trump has the temperance to serve effectively as president? Obviously, partisan lines. Yeah, partisan lines. Yeah, these are all gimme questions. Obviously. Here's nice. Was your vote for president mainly for your candidate or against his opponent? And for those who said against his opponent, 2/3 were Joe Biden. Whew. Who, baby? Yeah, Trump supporters probably think strong leader is a policy position. Yeah. So, there you go. If Donald Trump is reelected president, would you feel excited, optimistic, concerned, or scared? Nothing terribly surprising here. 23% of Donald Trump supporters would be scared. Or sorry, no, my apologies. Of the 23% who will be scared if if Joe Biden wins the presidency, 89% of them supported Donald Trump, which is not surprising. This clip makes my day. We'll take a look in just a second. What is it? Statistics are used improperly 87% of the time, 13% of the time. Yeah. All right. We got the hard stats here. Really, the only really interesting data here is Biden pulling ahead with older white suburban folks and Trump pulling ahead with the POC vote and possibly even the queer vote. That is really crazy to me. Trump pulling ahead with queer people, with LGBTQ people, and with Hispanics and with black people. That is really, really, really crazy. So I'm going to be interested in seeing how that pans out. We're going to have to wait a little bit before we have more reliable information on how the demographics pan out. But once we do, I'd be interested in seeing how that turns out. Not just Cubans, by the way. Cubans have always been Republican. Well, again, since like the 60s. So we're looking at an explanation for a broader demographic shift. A demographic shift we need to be very, very careful about because the Hispanic vote in this country is a large and growing body. We want to we would like to be popular with these people if at all possible. Dave Rubin's Twitter. What's on Dave Rubin's Twitter? Why would you not just link the Dave Rubin Twitter tweet that you're referring to right now? I see a picture of him writing out a² plus b² equals c². What am I meant to be looking at right now? I don't know. Apparently, the Democrats are internally bickering over if the thing that killed their vote was socialism. It's actually kind of nuts because they're arguing that centrists losing swing seats proves centrism is better. That is the narrative we need to fight against harder than anything else. Harder than anything else. We need to push back against the narrative that the reason we lost was because we weren't more moderate. They're going to push that as hard as they can. We need to be very diligent in pushing back against that narrative. Oh, that Dave Rubin tweet? I've seen that. We went over that. Update on the Trump lawsuits? Gotcha. Let me take a look. Close this, close that. Close this, close that. Update on Trump's lawsuits in PA? Yeah, let's see. This is from 50 minutes ago. Flurry of Trump campaign lawsuits nets small victory in Pennsylvania. President Trump notched a minor victory in Pennsylvania on Thursday when a state appellate court acceded to his campaign's request to force Philadelphia election officials to grant its election observers better access to areas where workers are counting ballots. The request is part of a last-ditch Trump campaign effort to slow vote counting through lawsuits and procedural challenges. Under the new orders, Republican observers will be allowed to watch a process from 6 feet away. Previously, they were kept at a distance of roughly 20 feet away from workers at the main Philadelphia canvassing area at the downtown convention center. In a tweet, Jason Miller, a senior campaign aide, declared the decision a major legal victory, though Twitter quickly flagged his post as potentially misleading. We don't care if your observers are 18 feet away or 15 feet away or 6 feet away, a Biden spokesman, Bill Russo, wrote on Twitter, as long as election officials can do their job. Okay, this feels like it's a fairly meaningless victory. I wouldn't be particularly concerned. Gotcha, Hyena. Q Logic? I've seen the Q Logic. Thank you. GA update. What do we got? This is from 4 minutes ago. Trump 49.51%, Biden 49.25%. Trump leads by about 13,000 votes. God, this is going to be close. Oh, God. Nail biting. Jesus. What is Nick Fuentes on about? Let me see. It's going to be a rough day for him. Please don't be too mean to him, okay? I'm never Guys! I'm never voting for another Republican again if the GOP doesn't step in right now and support President Trump. Retweet if you agree. Guys! Guys, we did it! You're right. You're right, Republicans. The cucked, rhino-filled Jewish GOP, they're not real conservatives. Yeah, you show them. You should make a third party and vote for them, ones with real conservatives. Yeah, go for it. Yeah. I mean, wait. Oh, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. The American electorate can't handle you at your full power level when all your fucking campaign meetings are 20 sweaty dudes in a fucking basement screaming about Jewish control of the establishment. Please spare us. Do you think we're focusing too much on GA? Maybe PA is more likely in the end. PA is almost certainly going to go to us. So people are focusing on GA because we want an extra tasty snack. We want an additional, a little bonus, you know? We want a little extra flavor, a little yum yum on the side, you know? Yeah, this is from US Politics Poll. In Pennsylvania, Biden needs to win 60% of outstanding mail-in ballots to win the state. He's currently winning them by a 78 to 22% margin. It might go blue far enough that they can't even go for a recount. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, 1 second. Dylan Burns messaged me. We could do a panel with a bunch of other conservatives. That'd be fun as fuck. Oh, that'd be fun as fuck. Hold on. Yes, I saw Greta Thunberg's tweet. Godspeed, Greta. Bosh? What? Hold on. Just looking through this stuff. Oh, no. Wasn't David Pac-Man today? We had to delay that by a week. Trump campaign holds a... Oh, shit.
We warned that the Democrats changed this election system.
Wait.
They gave us mail-in ballots.
Wait.
And despite the fact that there are examples...
Are you fucking kidding me?
Thousands of ballots being mailed across this valley in trash cans in apartment buildings.
Jesus Christ. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it.
People getting as many as 18 ballots to their homes. We knew these rolls were unclean, and we were told that signatures would save us from
anyway,
all
just
fraud.
Take your right earbud or headphone ear out and just pretend you're only listening to it from one side, okay?
Or meaningfully challenge a single mail-in ballot out of hundreds of thousands of casts. We firmly believe...
I don't care. It's too bad. It's too much pain. Didn't we watch this? No, not that one. We get live. Filter Live, Washington Post, USA Today, CBS News, NBC News, Reuters. Oh, and take?
Trump won, but Democrats think we're stupid, and they tried to steal the battleground states. But now they're in a bind.
Give it to me.
It's taking way too long to count votes, and it's clear something is up. They got caught, but they haven't finished their little scheme. It appears that Trump won by such a large margin. Now they aren't sure they pumped enough illegal ballots into the battleground states to actually beat.
Dude, the COPE is incredible. Not only has Trump actually won, he won by so large of a margin, they can't even cover it up.
Him. So they need to keep dragging it out to give them enough time to try to find more. The chaos initially benefited Democrats by allowing them a little wiggle room to cheat. The wheels are now falling off and people are getting caught. They think they can add 100,000 votes that no one gets to see or review, and all 100,000 votes are for Joe Biden, and that Republicans will just accept those votes as fact. They think they can play Republicans and bulldoze their way to 270, and that Republicans will just tuck tail and whimper away. Why do they think that? Because Republicans usually do. Conservatives pride themselves on playing by the rules, and Democrats...
See, again, this is the far-right fascist shit. They're blaming the Republican Party for not standing by the coup.
...laugh as they steal the election.
Oh, yeah, dude, that's the Republican Party. The Republican Party loves to let Democrats steal the election. That's a thing.
You want me to believe that Donald Trump had a solid lead in Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, and that somehow in the middle of the night, after the counting had stopped, hundreds of thousands of votes for Biden miraculously appeared at the polls so that when voters wake in the morning, Joe Biden has taken those states? Joe Biden didn't campaign much. He's senile and is expected to be removed from office if elected.
What? Okay.
And you want me to believe he received the most votes in the history of our country?
True.
No way.
True.
Trump won.
Get owned. You imagine unironically losing to Joe Biden. Why would you insult the candidate you lost to? What? You're like, dude, Trump's actually won, but you're really gonna tell me this senile, stupid, unpopular idiot Joe Biden got the most votes in history? That can't be true. That can't be real. Sorry, it's real. You're living in the nightmare zone now. You've been sent to the shadow realm.
We all know it. Even despite the left's attempts to cheat. Trump won Michigan, but Governor Whitmer has made sure the state's electoral votes will go to Biden. Same in Wisconsin. Truckloads of new ballots, duplicates, fake postmarks. Where did these miraculous ballots come from?
Citation?
Donald Trump.
Again, they keep calling it miraculous ballots. Is literally just, here are more mail-in ballots that we have because we have to bring in the mail-in ballots.
Won the election decidedly, and Democrat-run states are trying to steal it. The media is complicit by obliging the ridiculous narrative that Biden could possibly win Pennsylvania and calling Arizona, Wisconsin, and Michigan for Biden? Democrats have teamed up with the media to tell us all the narrative that Biden won the election, and they expect all of us to be good boys and girls and just accept their narrative and do what you're told and don't go to work and don't...
True. Sit the fuck down. It's time for Daddy Biden to put you in your goddamn place. You're a bunch of fucking kids. You've been mucking up the house. You've been doing a bunch of malarkey. You've been jumping up to get to the cookie jar top of the fridge. You've been knocking shit over. You've been banging pots and pans together. Daddy Joe is home. Daddy Joe's taking away your goddamn Dreamcast. He's going to fucking ground you, but not so long that you don't get to have dinner, okay? Because Joe knows. Growing girl needs dinner. Everyone needs dinner.
Educate your children. Just wait for the government to provide a stimulus package. The problem is they didn't execute their plan quickly enough, and now they're stuck. They didn't pump enough illegal ballots in to win, so they have to figure out how to continue to drag it out to add more. Their problem is that their low-level cronies are getting nervous and starting to talk and releasing videos on social media.
AKA, we have one video from Project Veritas with absolutely no information that verifies their claims.
That's how every criminal enterprise meets its downfall. If not executed seamlessly, the low-hanging fruit talks. Watch, it's unraveling, and we're seeing corruption schemes exposed like we've never seen before in the history of our country. A slight delay was an advantage to Democrats. This lengthy delay is no good for Democrats. The tide has turned back towards Trump. Not only is the truth resurfacing about the ballots, so are a lot of other facts they never wanted revealed. Hang in there, folks. Donald Trump won on Tuesday. He's still winning, and his team is going to bring this home. Democrats are left trying to rig the election without looking like they're rigging it. But now they're caught in the spotlight of the entire nation. Democrats took too long. They're done. The reason we don't have a result 2 days after the election is because Donald Trump won and Democrat governors are looking for a way to say he didn't. Contact the Trump campaign and show your support for their fight. Show the world.
Dude, this is going to be such a rough fucking awakening for Trump supporters. Holy fuck. This is going to be so fucking brutal for them. Holy shit. They are not going to be able to handle the next couple of years. Yeah, this is like unfair to the Trump supporters. You know what else is unfair to Trump supporters? When you subscribe to my channel. Nothing gets Trump supporters angrier than waking up every morning to see I have more fucking subscribers, okay? I unironically, I see it on Poll, Kiwi Farms, whatever, they're screaming, how can anyone like that fat man-bun piece of shit? He's so dumb, he lies all the time. They get so angry. So you have to do your part, okay? And you have to bring us just a little bit closer to that next threshold. 300K by the end of the year, people. 300K by the end of the year. And I want another one of these things, except in gold-plated brass, by the end of the next year, okay? Look at that. You get me a fucking million sub plaque, I'm hanging that shit up right there. That's going right the fuck up there, okay? Goddamn right. That's going right the fuck up there. Oh yeah. 100%. Gold man bun. I will gold plate my man bun. You don't believe me? I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll become the establishment. They'll talk about me in the same hushed whispers they talk about George Soros in. That's the future. It's true. Oh yeah, Saki Tanuki is going to be like double Soros. Don't fucking do it, Vosh, you fucking bougie. Nah, we're going to do it. Can we buy targeted ads for your videos? I mean, I could do that if I really wanted to. I think Tempest right now is actually working on like a channel trailer, like a bombastic channel trailer. You know what I mean? And how fucking cool would it be if like one day I was like, you know what, fuck it, and I dropped some shit on AdSense to advertise myself. That's really cringy though. Seeing YouTube ads for a fucking YouTuber, that is cringy. But I'll do it anyway. I'll do it anyway. I'll make you all mad. I'm gonna make it cringy as fuck too. It's gonna, Tempest will come up with some sort of like cool as fuck, fucking, you know, like campaign video or something. And I'm gonna be like, no. In fact, you're fired. Here's my video. I'm just gonna get up. I'm gonna fucking floss. Wait, how do you do it again? Wait, like this? I haven't done it in like forever. There you go. I'm just gonna floss, okay? For 60 seconds. It'll be an unskippable 60-second ad, okay? Unskippable 60-second ad. There will be no way around it, okay? Remember back when unskippable 30-second ads were common on YouTube, and the only way to get rid of them without having to watch the entire thing would be to refresh the page? No, it'll even be on YouTube Premium. It'll even be on YouTube Premium. Them say they need to get less progressive. Spanberger on the Dem caucus call. We lost races we shouldn't have lost. Defund police almost cost me my race because of an attack ad. Don't say socialism ever again. Need to get back to basics. Is yelling. If we run this race again, we'll get fucking torn apart in 2022, Spanberger says. Pelosi comes back on and said she disagrees. They won the House and the presidency. We have a mandate, Pelosi says before getting off the call. Also, earlier in the call, Debbie, who lost her race, was crying and mentioned how people can't pronounce her name. Ooh, and I just skipped over it, too, to avoid having to try and pronounce it myself. And said, stop being negative on Twitter. Jeffries comes back on to tell people to stop leaking and that reporters aren't your friends. Oh. Jayapal is telling Jeffries to find the leakers. Okay. It just keeps going now as Pascal is calling out Schumer. Pelosi's done an amazing job, but where's Schumer in all this? Says Pelosi has one hand tied behind her back. Fuck me, dude. Oh, God. Do we have to talk Dem strategy? Oh, God. Dem strategy of being dumbass libs. I mean, yeah, that's the Democrats.
Close.
Crystal and Sauger, what you need to know about the 2020 election results so far. Let's give it a listen. What is this?
And here's the thing. When you had two campaigns that were basically about nothing, it came all down to culture.
Yeah.
That's what it came.
No, you are buying into the Republican narrative when you say that. Donald Trump wanted to make it about culture. Biden did have policies, okay? Every time Biden spoke, at every rally, at every debate, he talked about policies, okay? When you push the lie that they were both trying to push the culture war shit, you are playing into the Republican narrative by suggesting that Biden and Trump were both equally deficient in policy proposals. We need to focus on the fact that Donald Trump had nothing to do, nothing to say with regards to policies, that he is a policy failure. Don't cede that ground to them.
Came down to, and ultimately Democrats have the upper hand when it comes to economics. I look no further than Florida, where there was a ballot initiative last night to lift the minimum wage to $15 an hour, and it won with 60-some% of the vote.
One huge. Okay.
Not even close, right? Landslide victory for $15 minimum wage, and yet Joe Biden gets crushed. Okay. So Democrats have to understand, if they want to win elections, what they need to lean into.
I don't disagree with this.
Their economic.
I mean, wait, she does realize that Biden pushes for a $15 an hour minimum wage, right? Wait, she does realize that, right? She does realize that Joe Biden supports the policy that she's using right now as an example of Democrats needing to focus on good economic policies, right?
Positions on healthcare, on the economy, on wages, on unions are popular, but they didn't lean into that in this election, and they rarely do. Why? And they have decided foolishly to go all in on this suburban, college-educated demographic. Well, guess
I don't buy into this. I don't think the Democrats went all in on trying to appeal to fucking college kids or whatever the implication is here. I don't think that's the case. I do think that Joe Biden could have done a better job focusing on certain popular policy positions. But keep in mind, Donald Trump was the one who kept wanting to drag this into a fucking culture war. Joe Biden would talk about policies at the debate, and then Donald Trump would start screaming something about QAnon or about Hunter Biden or about looters and rioters and Antifa. Donald Trump was the one who was constantly trying to drag the conversation down into a culture war thing. He doesn't talk about policy at all. He didn't. Biden didn't talk very much about the $15 an hour minimum wage, but that's also because I think he considers that a relatively vulnerable point against Republicans. A lot of people erroneously believe that a higher minimum wage would be the death of local business or whatever. No problem, Soul Tsunami. Did I see this? Let me see. Would I go on the H3 podcast? No, I would turn down an opportunity to reach a large audience and talk with a dude whose content I enjoy. Oh yeah, I saw the crazy prayer lady. Yeah. Brazil army and getting ready to help Trump if he asks. What? Breaking. Chief of Staff of Brazilian Armed Forces reportedly briefing President Bolsonaro on contingencies in the event Trump calls on Brazilian military intervention to guarantee the integrity of the election. Okay, so The fact that this is even on the table is fucking horrifying. That being said, this is hysterical. Like they fucking think that they're going to, you seriously think there is no scenario where fucking Brazilian armed forces are brought in to enforce electoral results in America? I think they just want to be important, okay? They just want to feel important, you know? Yeah. Jesus Christ. It would be a nice turnaround for Latin America to perform a military coup on us, though. That'd be like a nice, you know, Dotsido. That'd be a sick fucking reverse Uno card. Yeah, this is some LARP shit. Give me a sec. I'm going to pee real quick. I'll be right back. And then we're going to talk about more stupid shit, because that's all there is to talk about in this dying fucking bloated whale carcass of a country. Wash my hands. Don't want to hear about it. I appreciate you all looking out for me. Okay, what's talking? What are we talking about? What is chat spamming? Based analysis of this election so far? God, we have to talk about fucking Dem policy. Blah, blah, blah. We saw that one earlier. We saw that one about 10 minutes ago. All right, what is this? Nope, can't look at this. Copyright. Fuck is this?
With just in, the election has been called off. The candidates will instead compete for the presidency in a Rust 1v1. Let's cut to that now.
I fucking wish, dude. In a truly representative America. But you know what? I don't want it to be Rust 1v1. You know what I want to see? The real competition? I want to see Dark Souls 3 PvP. That's what I want to see. The arena where you fight fucking Sola Cinder, you know, that one? I want to see that. That's the fucking battle I want to see. What weapons will they choose? You know, you can really tell a lot about a person's personality from what multiplayer Dark Souls weapons you choose, you know? You know what I'm talking about. Let's fucking go! Absolutely. Secretary of Defense resigned? Wait. Long at odds with Trump, Defense Secretary Esper has prepared a resignation letter, says officials, from 36 minutes ago. Oh, shit. Esper also plans to